1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4 shot, 5 shots. There's 4 orbs and 5. 5 shots, 5 orbs. Alright, just completed Vesper's Host. This was the first drop that I got. So you might think I'm crazy. I went ahead and enhanced this thing. Attrition Orbs, what a joke, right? Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking at first. And then one of the LFG fire team members that I was with, he wanted to see what I got on my weapons there, because we don't have information on all the perks in the API yet. It's mainly just from Reddit posts and people sharing their drops. So yeah, I said, oh, I got demo attrition orbs, and he goes, yeah, well, that's, you know, because you get ability energy from area denial frames anyways, or at least that's what I thought he said. I thought he meant like, well, because lost signal, right? Lost signal gives us a ton of dark transcendence energy for prismatic builds. Like, it's almost like it's glitched or something. Like, it just, because of the tick damage of the area of effect, it just builds up that dark energy super fast, right? So theoretically it should work the same for Velocity Baton, and I thought that's what he was talking about, you know, but for the light side of your transcendence. But he just said ability energy, and I looked at the origin trait here, which is Bray Legacy, right? So kind of like the Bray inheritance origin trait from the Deepstone Crypt weapons is pretty similar. They both benefit abilities. So this one says damage with this weapon generates a small amount of ability energy for the one closest to a full charge. So you combine that with Demolitionist, which also does that. Of course, it gives you, I think with special ammo GLs, it gives you 10% per kill. And then Attrition Orbs is going to, you know, produce orbs of power as it does damage, which normally is not something that I ever go for. It's usually an automatic delete. But I was thinking, well, because this is kind of a damage over time weapon, you can just shoot, stick a boss or a champion or a beefy target with 1 shot and then go to your other weapons. Meanwhile, the tick damage is just producing orbs of power for you, right? And I was thinking, well, it's probably just going to be like 1 orb of power every 10 seconds or something like that, right? So, but of course my head is spinning and thinking, well, if you can get Bray Legacy to give you ability energy, Demo to give you ability energy, and then if you use orbs of power to get ability energy through like firepower, right, or invigoration or whatever, or if you just want orbs to get armor charge, of course you can do that. But just thinking purely of ability energy, you can really get a ton of ability energy with this area denial frame GL. And on top of that, of course, you're building up like transcendence energy. I haven't tested the transcendent energy that you get from it, but I'm assuming that it'll work exactly the same like lost signal and just build up that light meter like crazy, which would work very good for builds, especially for prismatic builds where you where most of your damage or your weapons are heavily focused on dark damage, right? Which is not usually the case with my Titan here, because consecration, you know, you just slam down a couple of consecrations and you've immediately got your light bar filled up, right? So that's why like lost signal complements consecration very well. But this can complement all kinds of other builds, right? And so pay attention to this clip coming up here, because I didn't just go ahead and waste, you know, like 100 enhancement cores and 2 alloys and 6 prisms for nothing here, and all kinds of glimmer. I went and tested this in Neomuna, because the Neomuna, like in Terminal Overload, the enemies there are basically like -15 power, so, you know, fairly close to expert and master and grandmaster difficulty enemies, right? And I stuck this on one of the beefy Cabal elites that roam around the map, and this thing produced a ton of orbs of power, right? So we'll go into the clip next, but after testing, I was like, yep, I'm going to enhance it. Obviously, there's some other rolls that you can go for, like I believe it rolls with Repulsor Brace, it rolls with Destabilizing Rounds, not in the same, well, sorry, they're in the same column. They're both in this column right here, so you can't do the traditional Repulsor Destabilizing combo, but you can do Demo Destabilizing, which would also give you a ton of ability energy because you're getting more kills, right? So that'll play into Bray and Demo better than attrition orbs, but this can work really good on like a damage phase. So for example, like especially with this Eternal Warrior, Star Eater's Eternal Warrior build, I need to get my super fast, right? So Orbs of Power can help me with that. And then I need to get my Feast of Light 6, right? So I need 6 orbs after my super is charged. And then for longer damage phases, like for the Corrupted Puppeteer, the final boss in Vesper's Host, it's longer than a 30-second damage phase, right? So Eternal Warrior, if you don't want to do build swaps and swap your armor charges into surges and stuff like that, you just stay on one build. You don't need surges because Eternal Warrior is going to give you that weapon boost ×4, right? So in this case, I was using axes for the final boss and edge transit, but regardless to say, I think in this clip here, you could actually see I get void weapon boost ×4 because I had just cast my super and then tested this thing. But yeah, after 30 seconds with Eternal Warrior, you're out of your ×4 void weapon boost, right? So I mean, theoretically, if you also had like surges on here, you can go without Eternal Warrior, and you can potentially just collect orbs as you do damage to beefy targets. You don't have to get kills, which normally all of your mods that produce Orbs of Power for you rely on kills. Even the fragments that you can get from the different subclasses, they're only giving you orbs on kills, right? So when you're in a boss fight, this is the biggest, this is the most challenging thing that you have to overcome is thinking about how you're gonna keep your uptime on your surges, right? So attrition orbs can really help you out there, and I think I've seen somebody, I think I saw ATP doing something to get radiant orbs last season when he was doing some sword the sword challenges and soloing liminality, and he just used attrition orbs on Ill Omen, right? So the wave frame, to get orbs to keep radiant uptime and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, attrition orbs has some uses for sure, but in this case, I'm thinking boss damage, surge uptime, and then just because it's an orb, you can really turn that into whatever you want, and you can stack that with Bray and Demo, right? So let's go into this clip here and you can see how good it is. It's surprisingly good. Alright, so there goes my Feast of Light ×6 Star Eater's Twilight Arsenal. Now this guy just happened to be here, so right there goes 1, 2, 3 shots, 4 shots, and then one more shot. He's going to move. Actually, I'm out of ammo, right? So this just worked out. So 4 orbs on the ground, and I purposely took off the siphon, harmonic siphon, right? Void siphon. But I mean, you would still have to kill something with a void weapon just to get an orb of power. You'd have to get multi-kills, right? Obviously, I'm not killing anything on this big chunky target. It's just doing tick damage to that target alone, right? So it seems like if you look at the damage numbers here in slow motion, it's like every 11 to 12 ticks of damage, it's producing an orb. So 5 shots, 5 orbs, that's just in a matter of a few seconds. Absolutely crazy. Alright, bonus clip, if you stuck around to watch the video this long, and by the way, I'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed to the video. Thank you very much. I decided to go back to Neomuna here to test Lost Signal versus what is it? Velocity Baton, right? See if they both generate the same amount of transcendence energy. And you can see here, we'll take a look. I start with the same amount of reserves, right, for each weapon. So, and of course, like I might have missed a few ticks of damage here or there, so it's not like by any means, scientific testing, but I try to use both of these equally to see if I can build up dark and light transcendence at the same rate, right? And so I put about the same amount of shots into that elite target there, and as you can see, my dark energy is way higher than my light energy, right? So far it seems like Lost Signal is doing a little bit better on generating transcendence energy, and there's speculation by some out there in the community that it is kind of bugged and not intended to give that much energy. And of course we haven't had any other area denial frame GLs until now to actually test this, so it looks like that might be the case. So I'm just going to do this until I get transcendence here. My Lost Signal does have Vorpal on it. I don't know if that's affecting anything, but I don't think so, because this is like a community-wide observation, right? So let's see, yeah. It took 7 fewer shots with Lost Signal to build up dark energy compared to Velocity Baton.